They told you these plants don't work, but if they actually did, the entire pharmaceutical system would have a serious problem. You've probably lived this cycle more times than you can count. You get sick, you go in, you get prescribed something, you take it exactly how you're told. And for a moment, it feels like it worked. But then a few weeks later, or maybe a couple months, it comes back. Sometimes worse, sometimes stronger, sometimes in a slightly different form, just enough to make you question what's really happening. And no one gives you a real answer. They just give you another prescription, and another, until one day you start thinking something most people are too afraid to say out loud. What if this system isn't designed to fully solve the problem? Because if it was, why do infections keep coming back? Why is resistance rising? Why does it feel like your body is getting weaker instead of stronger? And here's the part that bothers truth seekers the most. What if there were solutions? Simple, natural, effective solutions that never made it into your treatment plan?
We in the mental health field prescribe pills that cause obesity.
That cause it.
We give people pills and they gain 100 pounds in 1 year. And then the elderly, some of the medications we prescribe cause premature death.
Wow.
And these warnings are all listed on the package issued by the FDA.
That side effects may include...
Yes. They take it anyways because that's what the doctors are telling them they need.
How long have you been a psychiatrist for now?
29 years.
How many people don't need to be on those drugs if they intervene in a different way?
Maybe 20%.
Don't need them.
Who do need them.
20%.
80% who probably could get by if we as society take a different stance and use different strategies for human health care. So many of our standard treatments are doing exactly the opposite of what we want to do. And that needs to change.
Long before modern medicine existed, long before labs, prescriptions, or pharmaceutical companies, the Most High God already made a declaration about what humanity was given. I have given you every herb-bearing seed, and every tree it shall be for you. That wasn't a suggestion, that was provision. The creator of heaven and earth designed a world where what the body needs already exists within creation. And throughout Scripture, we see this principle again and again. The God who heals works through what he created, not against it, not separate from it, through it. Even the olive tree, the fig, the herbs of the field, they weren't just symbols, they were resources. So when you look at the modern system and compare it to that original design, you have to ask a very uncomfortable question. Did we evolve forward or did we drift away? Let's start with one of the most powerful and most misunderstood natural compounds, oil of oregano. Most people think of oregano as just another spice, but in its concentrated form, it becomes something entirely different. It contains compounds like carvacrol, which have been studied for their ability to break down harmful bacteria at a structural level. Not just slow them down, not just weaken them, break them down. And here's where it gets interesting. Most synthetic antibiotics are designed to target one specific mechanism, which is why bacteria can adapt. But oil of oregano? It doesn't play by that rule. It works across multiple pathways, which makes adaptation much harder. But that's not random, that's layered design. So now the question becomes, if something this powerful exists, why isn't it common knowledge? Next, garlic. But not the way most people use it. When garlic is crushed or chopped, it activates a compound called allicin, and this is where everything changes. Allicin has been studied for its ability to fight bacteria, viruses, and fungi. 3 major categories, 1 compound. For centuries, this wasn't considered alternative. It was standard, used across cultures, trusted across generations. So how did something that effective get reduced to something people barely take seriously? Because it's simple. Because it's accessible, because you can't patent it. And systems built on control don't prioritize what they can't own. Now, olive leaf extract. This is one of the most overlooked tools available today. It contains a compound called oleuropein, which has been studied for its ability to interfere with how pathogens survive. But what makes this one different is its connection to Scripture. Olive trees are everywhere in biblical history. They represent peace, endurance, healing, and yet, the same tree carries physical properties that support the immune system. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. The same creation that carries spiritual symbolism also carries physical function. That's what alignment looks like. You're starting to see it now, aren't you? This isn't random. This is intentional. Thyme is another one most people overlook, but it contains thymol, a compound known for antimicrobial and antifungal effects. Historically, it was used in situations where breathing was compromised, which makes sense when you understand how it interacts with the body. It supports the respiratory system, it helps clear pathways. It doesn't force the body, it assists it. And that's a completely different approach than what most people are used to. And finally, turmeric. Most people know it for inflammation, but its role goes deeper. Its active compound, curcumin, helps regulate how the body responds to infection. Not just attacking, but stabilizing. Because true healing isn't just about destruction, it's about restoration. And that's where many modern approaches fall short. They remove the threat, but they don't rebuild the system. And this is where everything comes together. Because the real issue isn't just infection, it's imbalance. It's a body that's been pushed out of alignment and never fully brought back. And when that happens, the cycle continues. But when you support the body the way it was designed, you don't just fight illness better, you become more resilient. And that's a completely different outcome. So what do you actually do with all of this? You start small, you start intentional, you begin working with your body. Instead of constantly overriding it, you incorporate oil of oregano when you need targeted support, garlic as a consistent daily defense, olive leaf for ongoing immune strength, thyme for respiratory support, turmeric for balance and recovery. But more importantly, you shift your mindset. You stop thinking your body is broken, and you start realizing it was designed. The creator of heaven and earth didn't leave you defenseless. The tools were always here. They were just overlooked. And when you return to that design, everything changes. Most people will hear this and go right back to what they've always done. But a few people will feel something shift. If that's you, comment truth. And if you want more content that connects real wellness with the wisdom of the Most High God, subscribe, because the truth was never hidden. It was just ignored. And now you're starting to see it.